Hi, I'm Charlotte, and this is Chatting with Charlotte, where I share conversations, life hacks, and inspirations to help you on your healing journey from childhood trauma. Today is part 3 of my 4-part series entitled, Is God a Good Parent? And today's topic is, does God follow the guidelines of good parenting? If you haven't watched the previous videos, the link to the playlist is above, so check it out. And it will help you kind of understand actually what I'm saying today. So as we look at God and God's attributes, there really are several that he has that indicate he does follow the guidelines of good parenting. But for the sake of time today, I'm only going to focus on one, and that is freedom to choose and the consequences for our choices. Because I think that one is a very important one to survivors, and how that impacts us is fairly dramatic. So, from the beginning of time, God has given choices. And the first choice that he gave humanity was, he told them not to partake of the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And he told them that if they did, they would die. Did they listen? No, they did not. They listened to the serpent, they partook of the fruit, and they faced a physical death. Not immediately, but their immortal state was changed. And they also no longer had an intimate daily walk with God. God banished them from the garden, but he still loved them. If he had not given them a choice, humanity would not have any knowledge of good and evil, would not know anything about consequences. So in doing that and not interfering with their ability to choose, God began the cycle of logical consequences. And he still holds that today. Now, he did, again, make another fairly dramatic example of providing choice and consequence when he sent his son, Jesus Christ, to redeem mankind. Because yet again, he did it so that man could return to God and have a pathway back to God, but he doesn't force anyone to believe it. Jesus did not come with an army of angels to destroy the Romans and to set his people free. He came to teach love and to show us the way. But we still have a choice on whether or not to accept that. And that choice is always ours. And God will never force us to make that decision. It's a very personal one. But he provided a choice and the consequence of that choice. So as you look at that and you look at all the other ways God interacts with humanity, you see that in fact in that particular thing, in giving us a choice, he does follow good parenting guidelines. Now, the crux of the whole thing that makes it difficult for survivors is, well, the parents who make the choice to abuse their children, it's their children who are suffering the consequence, not the parent. And in a real physical sense, that is actually true. So what happens to the child? And why is God not... the child really has done nothing wrong. It's not the child's fault. Well, God, I think, in my personal belief, God sees that and he protects the soul of that child so that they are surrounded, in essence, with that protection, so that their soul is not does not succumb to the evil that is being perpetrated on them. That was my experience. And the fact that I had faith in Jesus, even as a young child, gave me hope that there was a possibility out there of redemption at some point. And that's what sustained me. I really believe that if I had not had that, that I probably would not still be alive. And I've talked about that before in other videos. But I think that that's what is so vital for us to understand, that God gives us choices and there's consequences for those choices. And even when evil is perpetrated upon us, we have a choice of whether to follow that evil path that we've been taught or to follow another path. And we can hold on to hope, and we can have faith. In either case, God's going to surround us in a protective way, not necessarily removing us from the abuse, but protecting our spirit, if that makes sense. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that tomorrow when I kind of wrap things up and put it all together. But I hope that that is helpful in the sense of how God kind of puts all those pieces together. And in this one particular aspect, he very much follows the guidelines of good parenting by giving us choices and allowing us to face the consequences of those choices, whether those be good or bad. So I will talk to you tomorrow as we wrap everything up. So hope this was helpful, and I will talk to you soon. Bye now.